like I say, it's not the thing in your wallet. It's the thing in your mind. What you believe, what you heard, what you learned about money, and your money events will shape every dollar you spend, you overspend, you don't save. Like that's the thing that's actually going to transform your wallet.
Ever feel like you're in a constant competition between your career and your husband's patience? Your kids think you work too hard, but hey, you're doing it all for them, right? The struggle is real, and I've been there too. Moments of feeling like a crappy mom and wife because once again, your kids had breakfast on their way to school, and you've got more important things on your plate than cooking and cleaning. Hey there, working moms who are juggling a million things and still wondering if you're doing it right. I'm Veronica Cisneros, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, a mama of 3, and married for 24 years. Welcome to the Empowered and Unapologetic podcast, where we dive deep into the messy, chaotic, and sometimes hilarious world of mastering motherhood, marriage, and business. I get it. Balancing it all was never the goal, but here we are, trying anyway. I'm here to share my journey and guide you through yours. No more apologies for being driven, and definitely no compromises on your dreams. Together, we'll navigate the challenges of being a powerhouse in both business and family life. Join me as we tackle the uncomfortable conversations from being the breadwinner to changing the rules of what a marriage looks like. Let's figure out how to parent in a working parent household without the constant arguments or guilt. I'm Veronica Cisneros, and this is Empowered and Unapologetic, where we embrace the chaos, challenge the norms, and strive to live life on our own terms. Get ready for some real talk, actionable tips, and a few laughs along the way. Welcome to the Empowered and Unapologetic podcast. Today, I'm sitting down with an incredible woman who has completely transformed her financial life, and she's here to help you do the same. Our guest, Janine Mix, is a Christian entrepreneur, author, and speaker who went from being $120,000 in debt. Janine, $120,000 in debt, girl, to becoming a multimillionaire by age 33. Okay, we all need to catch up. She is the host of the Permission to Prosper podcast and author of the best-selling book, Buy the Damn Coffee, where she challenges the guilt and shame that often surround money decisions, especially for high-achieving women. Janine empowers women to break free from restrictive money habits, embrace financial confidence, and build generational wealth. I totally need her in my life. In today's episode, Janine is going to redefine the way you think about money. If you've ever felt guilty about spending on yourself, struggled with the scarcity mindset, or felt stuck in financial habits that don't serve you, this conversation is for you. Janine, thank you so much for coming on. I'm ready to learn all the things.
Thank you so much for having me. Right away, when I was like, who's your audience? You're like, high achieving women. I'm like, they're all my people.
Right?
I mean, I'm with my people right now.
Yeah. So you're about to teach us, ladies, grab a pen and paper because she is not playing around. So, Janine, so many of us feel guilty about spending money on things we enjoy, whether it's coffee, self-care, or even hiring help. I personally, I'll drive past Starbucks maybe after a long day, or drive back past a smoothie joint or whatever. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, I could buy it, but like my daughter's not with me. And so I'm just going to go home. Open up a bottle of sparkling water, and I'm good to go. Like, do I really need it? With my kids, they could care less. They don't give a damn if we have sparkling water, all of the juices, all of the whatever. Like, they want their Starbucks or they want their Jamba Juice. Mm-hmm. Where does this come from? And how can we let it go?
Yeah. So Buy the Damn Coffee is a movement away from the small, insignificant purchases. Okay. Because there isn't one success story of anybody who's a multimillionaire, super successful person that attributes their success to how much water they drank and how many coffees they cut out of their life. That's not how you get to success. Okay. So it's not permission. It's not YOLO. It's not permission to just spend money you don't have and like you only live once. So I'm going to buy things I don't need. No. It's not relinquishing responsibility. It's just a movement away from mentally. For me, it was the coffee. I'd be in that line at Starbucks feeling so guilty. Now I had the money to pay for it. Could I have saved the money, rolled it over for the next 20, 30 years, put the there's a whole theory, put the $5 into a stock market. And after so many years, you're going to have, I write this in my book. It's like less than $100,000. And I'm like, that's not going to do anything for your retirement. I'm just going to let you know that right now. So I don't want to live a coffeeless life, miserable, and I'm not promised to even make it to retirement, right? Like, so it's this, I remember just feeling so guilty about this little purchase. Like, this is the thing. I'd be in line. This is the thing, like, that would remind me that I'm not disciplined. I'm not good enough. Look, here I am again. It was a toxic relationship with this coffee.
Yeah.
For me, it was the coffee. For someone listening, it's something else. Yep. It's something that you just always feel bad when you do, but it never made sense to me because, like I said, I was living in Los Angeles. I was working in some of the highest retail locations in the world. And I'm dressing celebrity clients like Paris Hilton, Katy Perry. I'm working with Faith Hill. And I'm seeing all this money, and I'm like, they're not cutting their coffee.
Hell no,
or
girl. Hell no.
So I was like, something has to be different, right? So buy the damn coffee and buy the damn whatever for whatever it is for you. Like I said, isn't a justification to spend money you don't have. It's a movement away from the small, insignificant purchases that actually are not the thing that's keeping you broke. The thing that is keeping you broke is not in your wallet, it's in your mind. And like your mindset around money, you're either in the poverty mind or you're in the prosperity mind. And you may not even know that you're in the poverty mind because you've grown up with it your whole life. Yep. You don't know until you start justifying like little things. Like maybe you went shopping with a friend and you come home and you tell your husband, I got it on sale.
Yeah.
Like, why is that your justification? Like there's the poverty mind that comes up. And so it really, truly is, I think, has nothing to do with cutting out the coffee or your expenses category or your budget. Has everything to do with focusing on the other side of your budget, which is your income.
Yeah.
Your income has the greatest chance to change your life, not the $5 coffee that you skip. So that's what the movement is. And when you ask, like, what is it? What is it that comes up? It's your money influencers. And I talk about this in my book. We have 3 money influencers. And it's, what did you hear about money growing up? Veronica, can you think of your parents or
let's do it.
Yeah. What did they say?
We don't have any. That was,
we don't have any.
They didn't even have to tell me. I knew, we didn't have any.
Yeah.
Nobody needed to tell me, right? We don't have any. And money in my home was, my dad was an alcoholic and a heroin addict. And so money was, if we did have money, it was reserved for that, or my dad had it hidden somewhere. And I'm gonna tell you right now, when he passed away, no, girl, no.
No, you know what I mean? Like they hid money. My dad was also a drug dealer. I didn't share much of that in my book, but he used to have his cash in a twist off Coke can in the fridge.
Really?
In case he got robbed. Yeah.
Oh, damn. Yeah, no, anyways, I don't even know. No.
Similar stories.
Right? Yeah, no. I just remember, I know my mom would always say that my dad had money and he had it hidden somewhere. We didn't know where. However, we didn't have access to it. My dad was the primary breadwinner, right? So yeah, it was definitely scarcity, 1,000%.
Yep. So, and we hear things like, oh, I'm not good with money, or money is evil, or money is wrong, or wealthy people are greedy. These are the things that we hear. That's one influencer. The second thing, and we hear it from our parents, we hear it from influential people, we hear it from society, from movies, everywhere. The second influencer is, what did you learn? What did you learn about money from your parents? And usually one parent is different than the other. Yeah. They usually don't have the same money habits. So what kind of things did you learn? I know for me, I remember this experience I had with my mom that completely shaped my money beliefs for such a long time. And I was a tomboy most of my life growing up, like wore boys' clothes. I remember when they had Sadie Hawkins, which
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if they still do that,
Yeah.
but like you asked the guy and you got to like match with your couple. I literally bought a men's Quicksilver shirt and I wore men's Vans and baggy jeans. Like I couldn't wait. I was like, this is gonna be perfect. I finally get to go to a dance where I can just wear baggy
Yeah.
clothes. I was not a girly girl. And then I remember hitting like middle school. Actually, it was probably like my freshman year of high school that I finally was like, I would like to like shave my legs because I didn't do that. My mom wouldn't let me. I'd like to shave my legs. I'd like to get highlights and I'd like to buy some dresses for school. And I remember my mom, we always did back to school shopping. And I remember that year I was like, Mom, I think I want to dress like a girl. And my mom was like, hallelujah, here's my girl that I've been waiting for. I had like that pretty woman experience. I walked into the mall. We drove 2 hours to the closest mall because we lived in the middle of nowhere desert.
Yeah.
We drove 2 hours. I remember walking in. It was no, shoot, I can't even remember the name of the store right now. They still have them. And I remember walking in and seeing the mannequins and the dresses and all the things. And I was like, I want to try that on, that whole outfit. And I walked out with bags full of like these outfits. And, you know, of course, there were the motherly disagreements in the fitting room of like, I don't like that, you know. But she did. She let me have that full experience of embracing my femininity and like, you know, appropriate, but like allowing me to just express myself, be excited about clothes. I had never experienced that. And so I left. We had lunch. We got bags of clothes, multiple stores, did the same thing. There wasn't literally a thing that my mom was like, I'm not buying you. It was just amazing. I was so grateful for that moment. And I had never had that before. And I remember we're driving back 2 hours to get home. And I remember we pull up in my mom's Dodge minivan. We pull up. We live in the middle of the desert. So we pull up to the house and I go, my mom says, before we get in, she goes, all right, we're going to wait till your daddy is asleep for you to bring all this in.
Oh.
And I was like, immediately, the wind knocked out of my sails. I was like, did I do something wrong? Yeah. Did she lie? Do we have the money? Like, I don't need it. Take it back. Yeah. Am I going to hurt us? Like, it just was an instant shame and guilt overwhelming me. And so I did. I waited till my dad was asleep. I went and got the bags out of the car. I cut all the tags and I hung it up in the closet. Oh. And that learned event in which I also, so there's the money influencers, what you heard, what you learned, but also what you experienced. So that was a money event for me. What I experienced shaped my belief around buying stuff for myself, especially when it came to clothing, for decades after that. And that was also reinforced. I worked in retail. So several times I'd work with clients that would say, put it on this card where my husband doesn't see, or cut the tags off. I don't need a bag. I don't want my husband to know I brought it. And so it reinforced this belief that like, do we just hide all of our purchases as women from men? Yeah. Is this what I need to do for the rest of my life? And I remember early on in the marriage with my husband, I remember feeling like same thing. I'd go shopping, but I'd hide it. Yeah. And until I understood the psychology of where these things came from and these insecurities around money, until that happened, I didn't know how to break it. And so I decided that I didn't want to do that same thing with my husband. I didn't want to hide things. I wanted to be excited for my clothing, but I always felt guilty. I just always had this guilt. And so now I actually, when I do go shopping, I try on everything for him when I get home, and I've like reshaped that story, and I'll share how you can do that. I'll share a really simple method with your audience of how you can do that. But my point in sharing this story is that event was so significant and had so much pull and weight on how I managed my money and what I believed as a money manager, like who I was to the core. You know, it shaped so much of that. And as I was preparing to write my book, which I share this story in my book, I decided to have this conversation with my mom. Mom, do you remember when we had that shot? And she was like,
girl, oh my you gosh, called her out.
Oh, I did. If you want to heal from your money story and see abundance in your life, you will heal that with the people you need to heal that with, whether it's with yourself, your spouse, or your past. And so, yeah, I brought it up to my mom, and it was totally out of love. And I explained my perspective of it. And she goes, oh my gosh, well, that's so weird. I don't remember saying that. But she goes, I know why I would say that, because my dad would do the same thing. In fact, my mom's dad was actually pretty violent. She wasn't allowed to wear makeup. And one day, this bully knew that her dad was violent and knew that she wasn't allowed to wear makeup because my mom would put on makeup at school and wash it off before she went home. That day, this woman decided to make my mom keep the makeup on. And sure enough, my mom got beat that day. And so she had that money story that came. So she was afraid. Like, it wasn't that my dad was going to do that, but she had that written in her history. That was her money story and her money experience. And so she's like, your dad knew everything we spent. We had the money to buy you that stuff. I didn't put things on credit cards and stuff. And I was like, all these years, this shaped me, and it wasn't actually the reality. What it was a generational money story, right? That what was actually affecting us. And that's where I was like, not anymore. Like, I'm going to break that. I'm going to do something different with my spouse. And so I want people to think about, it's not usually like, we all know the basics of a budget, okay? We know that we need to save more, invest. Maybe you do need to cut out some expenses because you're overspending. Okay, there's a temporary sacrifice that you have to make if you're mismanaging your money, but it's temporary. It's not going to be forever. And that's where we get stuck. And then we feel like refrain, and then we go and blow money that we don't have because we're in this constant cycle. The thing that's going to break that cycle isn't another perfectly curated, colored budget, okay? Isn't a new, fresh year and a new, fresh start, or certain time, or when I get a job, when I get this raise, then I'll manage my money. None of that's going to happen. Like, the thing that you have to break free from is your money influencers. You have to know where it came from and why you think those thoughts around money so that you can transform them. And so I'll share real quickly how I think, like, the easiest way to do that. And that is my mix shift framework. So it's MIX, like my last name. So it's super easy to remember. So the first thing to break any of these influencers, what you heard, what you learned, what you experienced. Let's use what you heard. How many of us have heard money doesn't grow on trees?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Okay. So that's,
I think I've even said it to my kids. Right. I think I'm guilty of it, right?
Right. Why do we repeat this phrase? What does it even mean? So money doesn't grow on trees. That's the message. Is the message true?
No.
So you just have to, is the message true? Most of the time it's going to be no. Okay. And then the X is cross it out. What would you rather be saying? Money flows to me abundantly.
Yeah. Money comes easily.
Money is always provided when I need it. It's always come in clutch. You know, like, so what is the message that you might be saying? Maybe you're saying, I'm not good with money. How long are you going to keep saying that? Listen, no one was born good with money. Literally no one, not a single human being is like, I'm an expert at money. Yeah. So if the message you keep telling yourself is, I'm not good with money, you're going to believe that. And you're going to stay broke, and you're going to stay in the poverty spirit, in the poverty mind, because you don't believe you're worthy. You don't believe you're worthy of it. So, okay, I'm not good with money. That's the message. So that's the M. Is it true? You know, maybe in times in my life, I wasn't very good with money. You know, maybe I overspent, but I don't have to live in that guilt and shame forever. Just because I was bad with money once does not mean I can't be good with money now. And I think that's what makes me different from some other people in the financial guru space is I believe you can change. I don't believe that once you have one bad money experience, or maybe you put some money on a credit card and you feel like you can never trust yourself with a credit card again. I just don't believe that. It's kind of like telling a bad driver, you're a bad driver. You should never drive a car. Just only take public transportation. Well, that's silly. Wouldn't the better solution be to get some driver's lessons and practice and get better with this vehicle? I feel the same way with money. So the message might be, you know, I'm not good with money. Is it true? Well, maybe you haven't been in the past, but you can be now. So maybe it's a maybe, but usually it's like, no, you're not horrible with money. Now, maybe you need to be really honest with yourself and say, I'm really bad with money because I'm afraid. Like, what is it? So then you cross out that message. I'm really bad with money. Cross that out. What would you rather be telling yourself? I'm getting better with money. I'm getting more confident with money. I'm starting to learn and understand more about money, that I can be a really good manager of it. So you get to write that message. You get to tell yourself whatever story you believe about money. Yeah. Like, that's the thing. Like, whatever you keep saying and speaking, whether it's your own things, like you said, you share same things with your kids, like similar phrases. Do you want to break that, or do you want them to think abundantly? Be smart, be wise, be a good steward. Absolutely, you can have those skills, but still be like, not full of the shame and the guilt, or we don't have it, or the poverty spirit, which is going to tell you money doesn't grow on trees. Greedy, wealthy people are greedy. Like, that's all the poverty spirit, because the prosperity mind is going to say, instead of all wealthy people are greedy, prosperity mind might say, I know some pretty broke, mean people too. Money doesn't change you.
No.
It magnifies who you already are. And some people are greedy.
Yeah.
Like, that's not your problem. You only have to look at you, how you manage, how you steward your money, and what are the things getting in the way. And I think that's, like I say, it's not the thing in your wallet. It's the thing in your mind. What you believe, what you heard, what you learned about money, and your money events will shape every dollar you spend, you overspend, you don't save. Like, that's the thing that's actually going to transform your wallet.
I know looking for the right therapist can be challenging. However, feeling overwhelmed and disconnected is even harder. Life is filled with several twists and turns, some more severe than others. We do our best to handle them as they come and find ourselves at a loss, not knowing what to do or who to turn to. The clinicians here at Outside the Norm Counseling are here to help. We are here to assist you through this time of need. Together, we will identify your strengths and goals and teach you healthy coping skills. Together, we will develop a plan to help you live the life you want to live. Our team is compassionate, genuine, and we take a great deal of pride in providing an empathetic, non-judgmental approach to all of our clients. It's time! You've waited long enough, whether it be for you, your child, or if you're in need of a couple session. We are highly trained clinicians ready to guide you. Schedule an appointment now by calling 951-395-3288. Again, that number is 951-395-3288. We're looking forward to meeting you and being a part of your journey.
As you were sharing right now, one thing that came up for me is, I have 3 girls, 22, 18, and 14. And one thing that comes up for me is not ever wanting them to feel like they can't afford something. I constantly lived in that as a kid, like all the time, where I would make up things, I would lie, I would maybe exaggerate some of the stuff that I had as a kid, just because I never wanted to be exposed. My kids are in private school, and they are around very, very successful individuals, a good amount of them entrepreneurs, and when they go to the beach, I want my kids to, my kids do work for me. When they go to the beach, there is this part that's like, you knew you were going to the beach, you're 18, like, how are you going to get there? Well, I was going to drive, and then we were going to go here, and where they go, oh my gosh, there's like this famous, like, Asian restaurants. I can't even think of what it's called, but it's not dim sum. I don't know what it's called, but I'm like, well, do you have dim sum money? Like, like, do you have that type of money to go? And she's like, well, no, but we're all going, and so is going, and so is going. And I'm getting hyped up. I'm like, well, shit, I want to go too. Right. And then I cave. Then I go into, okay, cool. Well, don't worry about it. You have money in your account, and you order whatever. Because I don't ever want my daughters to feel like they don't have it. And that 1,000% is not healthy. I'm aware of that as the therapist, right? That's 1,000% not healthy. And I think it's also wrapped around like not wanting them to feel the shame, not wanting them to feel the guilt, not wanting them to feel
the embarrassment.
Exposed. Yes.
Not having the money.
Yes. And it's like, I don't want them to be exposed, but it's like, they do have money, but it's not their money. It's my money, and they haven't worked for it, right?
Yeah. But is there a way, right? Is there a way to teach them the value of money without, like, I learned you've got to work hard for money. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why we're high achieving women, because we had to come from nothing. Okay. Well, what's the generational wealth that we can actually pass on. It's knowledge. It's not the dollars. You can give them the dollars all that you want. Most wealthy families lose their entire family wealth in less than 2 or 3 generations, because you have to put the knowledge in your kids to understand how to make more, be good at marketing, be good at sales, like manage that money, multiply. That's the thing we don't teach. We teach people. I don't have kids, but I've got nephews and I pretty much like mentor them. But we teach our youth how to make money and be a good employee. Our whole world does that. That's what the whole school system's about, right? Is making good employees. But we never teach about how to multiply money. And so that's really the knowledge, the generational wealth that you can pass on is how do you invest? And the problem is most women aren't. Statistically, we aren't investing. Why? Well, I have a whole chapter in my book called It's Not Your Fault. And that's mainly because the financial institution, people don't realize, is very young. Very, very young. There's a really great book called The Psychology of Money. I absolutely love it. I quote it in my book. And he goes over the financial institution. The financial institution, like retirement, like 401ks, are literally less than 50 years old. And guess what? They were not written to include women. At the time, we're probably about the same age. We're like the first of our generations to be able to get a credit card and a house in our name without a mail.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
not only were we excluded from these things that were created, we're only just getting started. We're only just getting in the game. And so give yourself a little grace. You don't have to know everything, but you have to stop avoiding it. You have to stop avoiding your money and pretending like you're not good with it and leaving it to someone else. There's also a really good book that changed my life called Prince Charming Isn't Coming. And it was like,
I think I have that one. I haven't read it yet.
She's good. Barbara Stanny, I love her. I think it's Barbara Houston now. She's remarried. She's got a really interesting story. She's definitely inspired me. And it was like, no one is going to save you. No one and nothing is going to save you, okay?
Amen. Like, ladies.
You have to learn. Yeah. If you're not learning it, if you're not acquiring those skills, how are you going to pass that on? It will not matter how many zeros in your bank account you leave to your kids if you're not passing on the knowledge. Yeah, and if you're not receiving the knowledge, and if you're not growing every single week. And it's so easy to do. We just it's foreign. It's like learning another language. If you're like, I'm going to learn Hebrew, it's a very tough language to learn. So you'd have to spend some time practicing. So I do this thing every single Monday. It's called Money Moves Monday. Every Monday, I've blocked out 1 to 2 hours, depending on what I need to get done, 1 to 2 hours every Monday. And in my description in my calendar, I've even written, or I've got account logins to courses around investing, money, articles I want to read, great blogs. You have to be consuming financial information to increase your financial literacy. But we don't. As women, we're too busy doing this, doing that. We've got kids to run. We've got our businesses to run. We don't have any time for our own self-care, all stuff. We do have time. We just don't say no. And, we give our time to people. Like, we all have the same amount of time in the day. Time and money are very, very closely tied together. And so you have to make the time. And for me, I like this. This is what I do now. So I've got a bigger time block. It could be read 1 article every Monday. Read an article from a financial blog just to learn a little bit more about something. You're going to absorb it. It's going to feel more confident.
Familiar,
More familiar. Yeah. If you have a business, you have a money date with your numbers. Every Money Moves Monday, you have a date with your numbers, okay? And you don't wait until the end of the year for your accountant to tell you what your profit and loss was. You should be looking at that every week and every month. You shouldn't be avoiding your money in your bank accounts.
Oh, you're calling me out, Janine. I do it every quarter, Janine. Every quarter, dang it.
You should be the general of your money.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I love someone said this once, that your money are like soldiers. And I love that. Every dollar counts. So every soldier you let leak it through the cracks somewhere, you're not managing and being a good general, a good steward. And as a believer, as a Christian, I love God. I know that He has given me every opportunity to prosper, but it's up to how I manage it. And if I want more abundance, I want the kind of stupid money that can change the world.
Amen.
Because
Yes,
money
me too.
can do a lot of good.
Me too. You and me, private jets.
Let's
Going
go.
anywhere except for Bolivia.
I just came back from, yeah. Like I want that kind of wealth. If I'm going to work towards that, I have to manage what I have now.
Yep.
He's looking at what I have now and seeing if he can trust me with more.
Yes.
And it's not just like in how I overspend. Maybe I was like this in my early days. I was so broke living in Los Angeles. I was in a cockroach-filled apartment. I had no money.
Yeah.
And I was like this. Like my fists were tight and white-knuckled. And I was like, I have no money to give. What do you mean I should give some money to my church? Or what do you mean I should get that homeless person a meal? I don't have money. I was so close-fist. How can you absolutely receive from the Lord anything if you are closed up? Because money is supposed to move through you. It's like a currency. It's current. It's called currency, by the way. It's a current. It moves through you, okay? It's not stopping at you. But if you're sitting here with closed fists, you're never going to receive it. So you have to release. Like it's the only thing.
I believe
Why
that.
do you think God says it's the only thing to test him in?
I believe
because
that.
it tests so many aspects of your individual personality, your behaviors, your beliefs, your control, like it tests that prosperity and poverty mind. It just reveals so much. There's so much healing to do there. That's why he says, test me, right? Who do you think is the provider of everything? If I give you more, will you steward it well for me?
Yeah.
You are blessed to be a blessing. Will you be a blessing or will you hoard it?
Yeah.
It reminds me of the parable of the 3 talents. So I just feel like you have to wake up. No one's going to do it for you. And it's not that hard. It feels foreign at first. It feels like you're learning Greek or Hebrew.
Yeah.
And then you start picking up a few things. I remember when we first, I'm a real estate investor. That's how I built my wealth. And I couldn't even call myself a real estate investor for like 8 years into the business. I just felt I would call my husband the investor. That's one of my money stories too. I was like, oh, my husband's the investor. We started the business. We ran it together. Like I literally just got back from Augusta to furnish another furnished rental. And I'm like, I couldn't call myself an investor. So anyways, I would go to the bank. I'd sign the paperwork and I would just kind of like not really know what I was signing, but I didn't want to embarrass myself by asking. I trusted my husband a lot, which I do have a trustworthy husband, but you never know.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it didn't matter that I trusted him. It mattered that I wasn't getting the education by just leaving it up to him.
Yep.
So as I got more open and vocal, asked questions, did not sign any more paperwork without knowing what I was signing, I wanted to know the numbers. So I actually made my husband start writing me emails like I'm a investor with him. So he'd write, dear investor, this is what we're doing. This is the house. Like this is the return on investment, so that I could learn what we were doing and understand why he was making certain decisions too. Then my confidence grew to the point where no longer was I necessarily asking the bank questions. They were asking me questions.
Yeah.
Like that's so cool, but that only happens if you put in the work. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, start with that. Put it in your calendar. Every Money Moves Monday.
Money Moves Monday. I have it written down. Money Moves Monday.
Do it. Even if you're reviewing your accounts so you can see, oh, that's weird. That's where my money went. And I'm sure you have QuickBooks and other things that are on your business. And it's good to have accountants to save you time and all those things. But just have a pulse on where your money is going. Stop losing your soldiers. I saw this huge boom in everybody's business in COVID because everybody was making money. They were printing it like crazy and people weren't spending it on travel and all the things. And businesses were getting business loans. We all got them. Like, you're just like coming in all this money. All of it's gone because what happens when you come into money and you don't manage it? You spend it. It's a theory. I can't remember. It's like Pascal's theory. That's not right. But it's like the more you make, the more you spend.
Yeah.
It's true. It's like that creep. Lifestyle creep happens. And so all this money came in and then it didn't get managed. And it's like, how long are you going to do that in your business? There's a reason why there's not a lot of female-owned businesses that reach $1 million. And I'm not saying it's because we're bad money managers.
No.
I actually think we're great money managers, but we're so hard on ourselves and we ignore the things that move the needle, like focusing on our money. for the service.
Yep.
And you can serve and love and pour into your audience, but if you aren't also serving and loving and nurturing this aspect of the business, your finances, you won't have a business to serve your customers anymore.
Yep.
And if you sit here and say, I'm not going to pay myself, for however many years, which I never hear a guy say, I'm like, they pay themselves.
Oh yeah, they
And
do.
you're like,
Oh
I
yeah, they
won't pay
do.
myself until this or this or this, or, it's like, why? And then you're going to resent your business. Then you're going to hate your business. And then you're going to be so frustrated because you don't have the cash flow that you need in your business to feel free to serve your customer in the ways that are passionate. You won't be able to have the money to hire the help so that you can leverage your business and save you time, because time and money are related, so we have to adopt this joy. And I'm telling you, I did everything to get in the mood with my numbers. I would take a bath. I would light a candle. I would do all these things to try to make it fun.
Yeah.
Because my money story would creep in and I'd always get frustrated with the money and the P&Ls. I just was like, ugh. And then once I started making it fun, maybe move out of an environment that maybe you do your numbers somewhere in public so that you can hold it together.
Yeah.
Okay. I have money meetings with my husband in the public because, at home you can tend to get into an argument about something or, no, set a different tone in a different environment and have the tough discussions around money so that you can be a great steward, so that your business can be profitable, that it's not just another job, so that it can create abundance for you, so that the money that you're making now pays you years from now.
Yep.
You can't just keep waiting for next year I'll take a profit. Next year I'll take an owner's cut. Next year I'll invest. Next year. You can't. You're missing out on the magic of money, of compound interest, of investing. And that was one of the biggest things I saw through COVID. You had all this money and sales were up for a lot of people, And it's gone now because you didn't invest it in the way that you should invest it in your future, in investments, buying a rental property, whatever that is for you. You just let the cash come and go. And that's just going to be the never ending cycle. And let me be clear, how you manage your money personally is exactly how you're going to manage your money in your business.
Boom.
Okay.
Boom.
So if you don't get both, you cannot keep robbing Peter to pay Paul. I know you are. I do it because I've coached thousands of business owners. I know that they take from their business when they need to pay for their kids this, and then you have to keep them separate. You have to stop that. You have to pay yourself what you're worth, what you need in your life to survive, to thrive.
Yeah.
You need to pay and invest in your future first, and these are just things that we don't do. It's not things that we learn. And that's where I'm like, don't feel guilt, don't feel shame. That's where I'm like, we're only just getting started. We're only just allowed to get a business loan and a home loan and a credit card without a man. We're the first generation to do that. That's crazy, but also okay, that's new.
Yeah.
That's probably why we don't have as many tools and resources, right? So it's okay. It's all right. Give ourselves some grace. But when are we going to put our big girl pants on? And I'm not saying that to be
no, they're used to being challenged. Don't worry about their
no, I know, but my heart is no, it's a wake up call. What needs to be your wake up call? Because the two worst scenarios that women have to get real with their money are death and divorce.
Yeah.
And those are not the areas that you want to get real with money. You know why? You want to rely on your husband's insurance policy? I've seen that go like that because some got taken advantage of by some other investor, lost the money, or family comes around, you give pieces of the pie, and it's gone. So the two worst places you want to get real about your money is death and divorce, or even the loss of a job. So now is the time. Every Monday, just a little bit further. You do not need to master it all at once. Overachievers, I'm talking to you.
Yep.
You do not need to manage it all at once. Do not be a perfectionist. Oh, well, this month I didn't do this, I didn't do that. So then you're done. You will never nail your money plan. I don't even like to use the word budget.
Yeah.
It's the word just makes me ugh. Your money plan, you will never master it. If you're avoiding it, or you just, I don't know. I just feel like I needed to take a step.
Yeah.
I just feel you can't avoid it. You have to be in it. You'll never have that control over it. You'll never have not just the control of I need to control every penny. It's the empowerment that managing it well gives you.
Yeah.
And you'll never really truly break free financially from this never ending cycle, of like, there's money in my account, there's not money in my account. And then, you're a perfectionist. So you're like, it has to be a perfect way. I have to be able to save this a month. And if I don't do that, I'm a failure. And then you stop. It's just this never ending cycle. Again, comes down to your money stories and your beliefs around money, and your behavior and everything and your actions are all impacted by your beliefs.
Absolutely.
So like that will never stop if you don't literally say, okay, stop. What's one thing I can learn this month about money? Maybe it's a 30-day. Maybe for you, you're like, every week overwhelms me. What's one thing you could do every month? Just pick one thing. You know what? This month, I'm going to read a book about money.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up mine. Pick up any other. I have like a whole. Go ahead.
With your book. So we are going to, it sounds like with your book, we're going to learn definitely money mindset. We're definitely going to learn about I have it written down, Money Moves Monday. It sounds like you have a breakdown of that. So with that, we have your book, Buy the Damn Coffee. We also have, you talked about the Psychology of Money book, as well as Prince Charming Isn't Coming. What is one thing that you can give our audience? Is it like a worksheet? Yes.
Oh, I got it for you.
Yes.
I got you. I took care of you and your audience. Don't you worry. You can go to JanineMix.com/unapologetic, which will be in the show notes. I'm sure I'll give you that link. That link is going to give you a link to buy my book. I think start with my book, but read many.
Yeah.
Read many. Make it a goal to read one financial book. If you read one financial book for the next 12 months, I guarantee you will feel like a money boss.
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
It changes your life. The other thing that's in there is my 5-step money planner. If you do not know where your money is going, you can't correct it.
No.
You can't even set a goal.
No.
You honestly, most of you listening don't even know what you want if you had all the money in the world. You don't even know what you would do with it.
Yep.
So you have to have a vision so strong to keep you motivated through all the highs and lows of your money plan, right? And you have to know where your dollars are going. And my 5-step money plan is just like a very simple spreadsheet. It's not overwhelming. I get overwhelmed with like pie charts and stuff. I don't need to see.
I can't.
I just want to know where's my money every month. In what categories. I talk about your fixed expenses, your fluctuating expenses, and your fudge. Right? So and do this for your business and your personal. So I do 2 separate sheets. I didn't put it on this 5-step money planner, but you can duplicate the one tab. And I have one for my personal and one for my business. And maybe you have multiple businesses. Definitely do it for both. But know where your money's going. It's very eye-opening. I think most people are so scared to log into their account because they're afraid of what they'll find. And what I find is there's a lot more money you're leaving on the table. And you'll feel much more empowered when you're like, oh, I didn't even know I had that. I don't want my money going there. Great. Where do you want it to go? And in this plan, it kind of gives you some automatic calculations that are like, this is how much you should be investing if you have this income coming in, this is how much you should be saving. Like it automatically generates that. But also in the 5-step money planner, you have a debt plan. For those of you who are like I don't like to use good debt, bad debt.
Yeah.
I like to say consumer debt. That's the debt that you buy the stuff you didn't need on a card, or maybe you did need. Listen, inflation's high. I know that there's families putting groceries on credit cards.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the consumer debt. It's debt that doesn't make you money. It takes money out of your pocket.
Beautiful.
Leverage debt makes you money. Okay. Leverage debt is real estate, a business loan, things that actually multiply more than the interest that you're paying. And so there's a whole debt plan or like a layout. You need to know where your money is. Okay. You need to know what order of your debt, like how much do you owe? Like you just need to have it all in one place. There's also a section in there for just knowing where your accounts are, especially if you're a spouse. There's a whole chapter in my book, Marriage and Money, and my husband and I will probably write the next book together, Marriage and Money.
Good one.
And so we need to know, like, where is that 401k? Where is that? You just need to know the information on a sheet. I've just seen so many people go through death or divorce that had no idea where their assets were, where their liabilities were. So you need to be able to see that. And then on the fifth step of my money planner, you have goals. I mean, you really need to ask yourself and sit down with your spouse and talk about it. It's okay if you have some different goals.
Yeah.
You need to honor each other's goals and come up with a plan to reach them. If you do not have a vision so strong, you will never know when you arrive. You'll just be chasing this never ending, unfulfilling life. Okay. So like you have to know, my husband and I have always known we wanted to travel the world. We want to be able to be on our own time. We wanted to retire young.
Yep.
We're our vehicle. There are a lot of ways that you can build wealth. They're not wrong. There's no wrong way, really. There are a lot of ways you can do there. We chose real estate as our vehicle. And so that was our plan.
Yep.
Real estate, cash flow, get enough cash flow to never have to work for someone else again. And now we travel the world all the time. It was so clear in those moments that we were like,
this is what we want.
Do we buy this boat or do we do this? You know, it was so easy not to buy boat. It didn't feel like depravity because we were clear on our goal.
Yep.
It will only feel like depravity because you're stuck in the poverty mind thinking you're never going to get out. It'll only feel like depravity when you're trying to fill the void and find worthiness in stuff, which I can guarantee you, it doesn't matter how much money you have, the stuff will not make you happy.
No.
It will not make you happy. But people who say money doesn't buy you happiness, it's a lie. They're broke. Money provides opportunity. I'm like, sorry, I'm bringing the real truth. I'm bringing the
girl. She is so right on. It is. Listen, I've been broke and I've had money. I'm gonna tell you right now, life is definitely easier with having money.
They lie. I'm like, no, you get access to better food for you and your family. You get access to better health. You get decisions. You get to make decisions. Absolutely. There's not a single broke person right now that couldn't use a little cash. Yeah. Okay. So money can absolutely make a difference, can absolutely change your life. We have to stop avoiding it. We have to stop, willing it away like it's this thing that like is shameful and I shouldn't want it. It's selfish. Like, no. You should be the best steward. And if you are the best steward, imagine what you could do with it. And that's part of your vision too. People always say, I want to give money to this and I want to give back to what exactly? Yes, because you know what I knew I wanted to do? I wanted to write a huge check to a counter human trafficking organization that I had been working with and raising money for so long. And that vision was so clear that the day that I got to write a $30,000 check to their organization, I was in tears because I got to do that. That vision is what kept me from buying the stupid crap that I didn't need, from avoiding my money. That was my motivation. I want to do that more and more and more. And like, that's what I want to do.
Janine,
so like,
I have to say,
it has to be clear. Yes, it has to be super clear.
I have to say, you are so inspiring. We have to get your book, Buy the Damn Coffee. For those that want to work with you, where can we find you on social media?
Well, definitely come and follow me on Instagram, Janine Mix. That's where I spend the most time. I've got some fun things launching soon, YouTube channel, some cool stuff. And then go to JanineMix.com/unapologetic and get some free resources. Start making some money moves Monday. Okay. Start doing that today. I want you to take action. So those are the two places that I would send people for sure.
Janine, you have been so inspiring. I have this all written down. Monday Moves Money. 1,000% going to get your book. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Raise your hand if you are ready to level up your marriage for 2023. Do you find that you're spending your time together with your husband checked out and in front of the TV? I know you're ready for tangible strategies that actually get you results. Reignite the spark in your marriage, have fun, and grow together. Well, I hope you have your hand raised at this minute because I have something special for you. I'm introducing my brand new 6-question marriage predictor quiz that's gonna give you personalized results to catapult you into the next stage of your marriage journey. That means you'll receive the results to where your marriage can get the best help. If you've got just 1 minute, head to veronicacisneros.org/quiz. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/quiz. And you could take my brand new quiz, Marriage Predictor. Get your results delivered right to your email address. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/quiz. veronicacisneros.org/quiz. What's up, ladies? Just want to let you guys know that your ratings and reviews for this podcast are greatly appreciated. If you love this podcast, please go to iTunes right now, write a review, rate the episode, and subscribe. Don't forget to share it with your friends.